Picture this. You're a 12-year-old boy in a quiet Albanian village in 1575, the dawn mist curling around the hills like a ghostly veil as you help your father mend fishing nets by the river. The soft lapping of water and your mother's voice humming a lullaby from the hut fill you with a sense of home, safety, everything you've ever known. Then you hear it, the thunder of hooves on the dirt path. Your father's hands freeze, his face draining of color, and your mother drops the wooden bowl she's holding, its shards scattering like your shattered world. The villagers know that sound, the Sultan's collectors have arrived. Ottoman officials in gleaming silk robes dismount, their eyes scanning the crowd with the cold precision of traders at market. One points at you. Your mother screams, clutching at your tunic, but they rip you away with promises of serving the Sultan, of rising to greatness, of honor. As the cart jolts away, your mother's cries fade into mist, and you realize you'll never see her again. This is the start of your new life as a palace boy, a ghulam in the Ottoman Empire, where horrors behind the palace walls will make you yearn for those simple days by the river. Before diving into these forgotten tales of survival and suffering, if you enjoy uncovering history's hidden truths, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Comment below where you're watching from. It's amazing to connect across the globe, united by our curiosity about the past. The life awaiting you in Istanbul was a descent into a world where horrific practices were normalized, shaping you in ways that would change your life forever. Let's begin with the brutal journey that stole your freedom. The journey to Istanbul is your first plunge into the relentless cruelty of your new life. You and dozens of other boys are herded across rugged mountains and dusty plains, walking for weeks with barely enough bread and water to survive. You sleep on cold ground or in flimsy shelters that offer no shield from the biting wind or pouring rain. The weak, those too sick or exhausted to keep up, are abandoned, their faint cries fading as you're forced to move on. You learn quickly, weakness is death. Beside you trudges a 13-year-old boy from a Serbian farm, his name once Marco, now forbidden. On the fourth night, he tries to flee, but guards catch him within hours. They drag him back, beating him bloody before your eyes, his screams piercing the night air. You shut your eyes, but the lesson sears into your mind. Escape is a fantasy. Resistance means ruin. By the time Istanbul's skyline looms, minarets stabbing the sky, the vast Topkapi Palace a gilded cage, your dread is a stone in your gut. This majestic city, once a dream, now marks the end of your freedom and the start of a nightmare that will redefine your existence. Upon reaching Istanbul, you face the first brutal sorting that strips away your humanity. Ottoman officials divide the surviving boys with precision of butchers at a market. They inspect your teeth, test your reflexes, and force you to recite scraps of knowledge, letters, numbers, while measuring your height and scrutinizing your face for beauty or flaws. The air is thick with tension as they separate the groups. The strongest of the Janissary Corps, the brightest and most handsome for the Enderun school within Topkapi Palace. You're among the chosen, your clear skin and sharp eyes earning a predatory smile from an official. They call an honor, but their gaze feels like a trap. The process humiliates, reducing you to a commodity, yet it's just the beginning. Selected for palace service, you enter a world where your intellect and beauty are both a gift and a curse, setting you on a path of trials that will erode your spirit and reshape your identity in ways you can't yet fathom. You step into the Enderun school within Topkapi Palace, a labyrinth of marble corridors and gilded chambers that feels more like a tomb than a school. Your dormitory, lined with narrow silk-covered beds, is a stark contrast to its opulence, each bed a chain binding you to this new life. Your first night, you lie awake, the air heavy with the muffled sobs of homesick boys and the stealthy footsteps of older students patrolling the halls. Clutching a small carved fish your father gave you, a last tethered home, you're jolted awake as it's confiscated. They give you a new name, Ismail, and demand you forsake your Christian past. Conversion is mandatory, a forced rebirth you can't resist. The palace's walls and guards make escape impossible, and the constant surveillance turns every moment into a test of survival. This marble prison, with its beauty hiding cruelty, begins to mold you, stripping away your past and forcing you to adapt to a life where every step forward costs a piece of your soul. The Enderun school promises an elite education, Arabic, Persian, Turkish, mathematics, astronomy, and the arts, but the cost is a soul-crushing ordeal. You're awakened before dawn for prayers you're forced to learn, fed just enough to function, and locked into a rigid schedule that leaves no room for your old self. The lessons are rigorous, but the real curriculum is survival. An older boy, Yusuf, corners you one night, his voice a mix of threat and promise. I can protect you, teach you the ropes, get you favors, but you'll need to show gratitude. His hand on your shoulder sends a chill through you. At 12, you're unprepared for this. Refusal means isolation or worse. Acceptance means surrendering your innocence. The palace's hierarchy thrives on this exploitation, where sexual favors by advancement. You witness boys like Dmitri rise with dead eyes, trading dignity for comfort, while others, like Stefan, fade into silence after resisting. This education, a twisted blend of knowledge and abuse, begins to reshape you, forcing choices that will haunt your every step. The palace's sexual ecosystem is a predatory maze, normalized and woven into its very fabric. Eunuchs, castrated and scarred from their own past, wield power by exploiting new boys like you, perpetuating the cycle they endured. Older students prey on the young, earning status by breaking others, while officials exploit the most beautiful with impunity. Knowing silence is your only option. A 16th century Venetian visitor noted boys as young as 10, adorned in silk, serving men with fearful eyes, a stark reality you live daily. Advancement hinges on pleasing patrons. Those who catch a powerful eye gain privileges, while refusals lead to punishment or disappearance. You see Hassan, once vibrant, vanish after defying a supervisor. This system, openly accepted, erodes your sense of self, forcing you to navigate a world where your body is currency. The psychological toll, manipulation, or withdrawal begins to warp you, altering your identity and planting seeds of a life forever tainted by this exploitation. Life in the palace is a relentless grind designed to break your spirit. You're roused before dawn for forced prayers, fed sparse meals at set times, and watched every moment in cramped dormitories with no privacy. Punishments are brutal and public. Boys caught whispering their native tongue or clinging to old ways face beatings or days locked in tiny cells. You watch Milos, a boy from your village, stripped and mocked in the courtyard for praying as a Christian, his shame etched into your memory. The lesson is clear. Your past is forbidden, a source of humiliation. Small privileges, better food, a softer bed, can be earned through obedience or favors, creating a web of dependency that stifles resistance. This rigid control, paired with a constant threat of violence, molds you into a compliant figure, stripping away your individuality. The psychological scars deepen, reshaping your worldview as you're forced to adapt to a life where survival demands surrendering who you once were. Escape becomes a desperate dream, but the palace's location on a peninsula, surrounded by the Bosphorus, makes it nearly impossible. Boys who try face swift recapture and savage punishment. You witness a 14-year-old, Ali, attempt to swim to freedom across the Golden Horn, only to be dragged back half-drowned. His beating, public and merciless, leaves him crippled, a living warning to others. Even if you succeeded, your old life is gone. Your family wouldn't know you, your village might shun you, and you lack skills for survival outside. Some escapees, caught within days, return broken. Others vanish, lost to a world that no longer claims them. The constant threat of this fate weighs on you, eroding hope. This realization that freedom is a mirage forces you to accept your captivity, reshaping your spirit as you grapple with a life where resistance offers only pain and submission becomes your only shield. As you mature, surviving through cunning and reluctant compliance, you face a chilling realization. The system demands you become its enforcer. The most successful graduates rise to viziers or generals, but this power comes from perpetuating the abuse you endured. Your teachers, once boys like you, now oversee the breaking of new recruits. You're torn, resist and face destruction, or embrace the role and select the next generation to mold. Many, like older student Kamal, choose the latter, their eyes hardening as they exploit newcomers. This cycle of predator and prey warps your soul, blending education with exploitation. The skills you've gained, languages, strategy, open doors, but they're tainted by the methods that forge them. This internal conflict reshapes your identity, forcing you to navigate a life where power is a double-edged sword, cutting away your humanity as you climb the ranks of a system built on your own suffering. The Chikma ceremony marks your graduation, transforming you into an imperial servant after years of abuse masked as education. You emerge fluent in multiple languages, skilled in diplomacy and arts, but your soul is scarred, your innocence lost, your relationships warped by exploitation. Some, like you, enter administration, where sexual favors still dictate advancement, while others join the military, carrying psychological wounds that turn them into harsh enforcers or hollow men. Ottoman records praise the system's efficiency, a 16th century historian calling a crucible of discipline that forged loyal servants, ignoring the human cost. By the 17th century, it waned with shifting military needs and European influence, but for you and thousands like you, it was too late. Your story, of a boy stolen and remade, echoes in Topkapi's silent halls, now a museum where tourists admire its grandeur, blind to the suffering that built it. Your life, chained forever by normalized horrors, stands as a testament to resilience amid a system that valued power over compassion.